Hi there, and welcome to a digital soapbox episode. And it's been a long time coming. We haven't actually done one for probably before the global pandemic, so that's what I'm blaming it on. But this particular issue has got me out of retirement, and it's all about Google rewriting people's page titles. You may or may not have heard about this, but it came into the news probably a couple of months ago. This article was in Search Engine Journal in August. And what am I talking about when we're talking about title tags? So if you look within the SERPs, the search engine results, you will see everything that's in big and blue and bold is basically typically the page title. Always has been. Whichever search engine you look in, this blue, the sort of the main text you see is effectively the page title of that page. And every website publisher, developer, content creator, what have you, has the ability and should always be writing their own title so that it appears here. And all search engine optimizers for many, many decades will have been working very hard in trying to optimize their titles so that it is relevant to the search query and it also brings about a click. So it's got to be engaging and enticing. So a lot of thought has to be put into it. You haven't got many characters to play with, and you'll probably see in some of these, if you do go over the character limit, you just get a dot, dot, dot. So there's a lot to be thought about, and a lot of work goes into them. However, Google, in all their wisdom, has decided to rewrite people's titles on their behalf. Now you might be thinking, what's the big deal? There's several issues with this. Now you could be in the medical profession, finance profession, anything that might be affecting people's life or money or what have you, that's probably governed by some kind of governing body like the FSA. So there's a lot of compliance involved. We know this from working on clients' websites that you can't just say whatever you like. And for Google just to start rewriting people's titles, there might be some legal implications on that. But also, why Google thinking that they have the right to effectively change a company's content? So if you have a look in the search engine, you will see the URL of that business. So this is our business. If you search for HubSpot Agency Birmingham, we are there, number one, and it's our domain name. This is our website. This is our content. We have written it, and yet Google are changing that. If they changed and did a bad job of it, people think we're idiots. I cannot see how they can get away with actually changing the content of businesses. Hundreds of thousands, if not millions of businesses, they are changing their content and portraying it as their content, when in fact it's Google that's rewriting it. So, whether there's copyright issues, I'm not sure. That's another issue with it. And the question is why? Why? Google will probably tell you that they are trying to improve people's titles because maybe it's too long, maybe they're repeated keywords. But I have seen evidence that, for example, they've probably seen, I think I saw it the other day with Diamond Factory. I think if I searched for Diamond Engagement Ring, it just said Engagement Ring, Diamond Factory. Because they think, well, I'm not going to just repeat the word diamond. Well, if people are looking for a diamond ring, they want to see diamond engagement ring. And if you go to the page, the actual page title does say diamond engagement ring. But Google, in all their wisdom, has taken that out. So they might actually get less click-throughs because people are thinking, well, maybe they're not diamonds, maybe they're just engagement rings, all sorts of things. But so they might lose businesses money by messing around, but it goes back to why have they spent time thinking, well, if a web developer, a web publisher, an SEO company has done a bad job in optimizing their website, then don't rank them, don't send traffic their way. Why do you think it's a good idea to be changing other people's content effectively? So this is where my skeptical mind comes in. Now, you may have been aware that over the years, the term zero click in Google has come up, because in 2020, just last year, there was an increase in 65% of zero clicks. Now, what does that mean? That means the amount of people that search for something but don't click on anything. So if you search for weather, travel news, local stuff, famous people, Wikipedia, you name it, you've probably seen all the times. There's snippets, there's pieces of content up in here, and you don't actually have to click onto a website to see the content. And you might argue, okay, that's great for kind of the user experience. I don't have to have a click. The answer's there. Now, people are going to also argue, like, Google is actually stealing content from website publishers and pouring out to people without even asking the website publishers. They're stealing their content, they're delivering it up there and then. So the website publisher gets pretty much no benefit from creating that content, and Google's getting all the benefit because people think, oh, aren't Google great? So that's another issue. So zero clicks is an issue, and the lack of organic clicks. So that's basically clicks on these organic rankings here. These have dropped over time because of little things like getting rid of the adverts on the right hand side and putting more on the top here. So again, if I just search for that, I don't see the organic #1 spot, which is us. Well, you might see it just at the bottom there, but all this is ads. I mean, they've even got these additional links down here. They're basically pushing the organic ones down. Why? Because obviously the more times people click on these links here, the more money that they get. So then we're coming on to the money issue, and this is where my cynical mind comes in. Google could be rewriting page titles to make themselves more money. Now, how would that work? So if you do Google ads, there is a type of Google campaign that you can run, which is called sort of dynamic ads or responsive ads. These ad campaigns, what you'll feed in a certain amount of information, and Google will go away using their machine learning, and over a certain amount of time, certain amount of clicks and impressions, they will figure out the best format of your advertising, which I think is fine, because you're paying for that, and they're trying to get you more click-throughs and more conversions, which is fantastic. So Google effectively, over time, more and more often, they will be having control over what appears here. Okay. Now, if they also start to have control, which they do now, having control over these titles here. So if they know what makes a good title and what generates good click-throughs, i.e. the ones that make them money, therefore they must know what page titles don't get good click-throughs. And who's to say that they don't purposely give poor page titles to the organic rankings? So therefore they get all the really good page titles in the AdWords and then devalue the organic ones. Now, I'm not saying they're doing this, but they could. Now that they are basically taking it upon themselves to edit other people's websites' content and publicizing it here, they could effectively turn switches every month. If someone's within Google, their KPI is Google ad spend. They've got to increase it by 10% month on month or year on year or quarter on quarter, whatever. They're a little bit down this month. Why don't we switch the algorithm a little bit, just so that we devalue the organic and increase the Google ads? Why is that not possible? Now that Google is that they are not controlled by their CEO and all the rest of it, they're controlled by the stock market, and they demand growth all the time. And how do they get more growth? They're struggling to get more people on Google because they've already got pretty much everybody. So how do they continue to get growth? As increasing the amount of ad clicks for every time someone uses it. So other than sticking even more adverts at the top, they've already got them at the side, and they've sort of doubled the space at the top. What else could they do? And I say that this is potentially Yeah, are really good. They've got complete control. They're just taking content off websites and delivering it up as their own. They are now editing website content on the SERPs as they wish. Now, here's just a few examples of how they change it. They can either sort of have dot dot dots at the end. They can sometimes, I've seen it where they've added the brand name at the end or the start. They've taken certain words out. They've moved them around. They do various things. I think there's probably 5 different ways in which they do change the titles, but they know what they're doing. And I just, because I cannot understand why they would do this, obviously the cynical side of me comes in. And, you know, I will say it again, the only way the likes of Google, Facebook, and Amazon are going to fail is through greed and having to please the stock markets in delivering up ridiculous growth year on year, to a 10% growth year on year, because there is just a limit to how much they can squeeze out of people, and they're making enough money as it is. So it might get to the point where they just annoy so many website publishers, or they're delivering up all these ads and people don't like it. Whatever it may be, it might start to turn people off, and it might give opportunities to other search engines to come up with a different business model where they deliver a better experience for people, for both the website publishers and the people searching. So who knows? But I thought I wanted to get this off my chest, as over the last couple of months, me trying to get my head around it. It's just annoyed me even more, and I can see other people on Twitter getting a bit frustrated with it. But it's that question of why? Why would they be doing this? And yeah, I don't trust them, to be quite frank. But if you've got your thoughts, it'd be great to hear from you.